Hello, Justice Warriors. Good afternoon. How's your day going? It's midweek Wednesday. How's your week going? We're getting towards the end of summer for those of us that have kids in school or if you're in school yourself. So, what's today? August 7th. And tomorrow, the 8th, is a day that I had mentioned to you guys that there's going to be a little series released on HBO Max about those cousins, Lyric Cook, and I'll have to look at my notes for her cousin's name. Hold on a second. So I'm really excited to learn more about that sad case. It's 12 years old. It's pretty disgusting. Where are my notes about it? So Lyric Cook is the 10-year-old. Elizabeth Collins is the 8-year-old. This is the two cousins from Evansdale, Iowa, that went missing 12 years ago, and the case is still unsolved. So hopefully with the documentary, the docuseries being dropped tomorrow, hopefully it'll create more of an interest in the case and maybe some tips. I don't know. I titled this live today, Hope in Times of Despair, or something like that. Hope amidst despair, because yesterday obviously was the 2-year anniversary of dear Kylie Rodney going missing. And I think that is very tragic that here we are 24 months out and we're still just getting fed a line of bull crap. What's counterbalancing that tragedy to me is that there's handfuls of us that are still interested in talking about it, like Oh Granny Nanny. Hello, my dear. How are you today? I saw that you put up a short video yesterday on your channel. Actually, I meant to watch it, but I didn't have a chance. I think there's just been a lot going on with my children and with my YouTube. I put up a bunch of Neil Young songs that I sang yesterday. They're terrible, and somebody made a really rude comment on one of them, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You know, I'm literally just doing it to break the ice for myself. So I'm not trying to impress anybody. If anything, I'm trying to humiliate myself for, just an exercise in humility and nothing else. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, but it's funny to me when people don't like what you're doing and then they watch it and then they comment. It's like, well, go find something that you like. So, but I do appreciate anybody watching and anybody giving me feedback. So even if it's negative, that's, for the most part, it's okay, as long as you're not being like mean and rude and hurtful on purpose, which this was kind of skating a fine line, but I take it with a grain of salt. Hello, Cosmic Kate. And rude people do not deserve us. They don't. And yeah, I mean, I definitely have a no troll policy, but I was just kind of laughing because it's like, I posted that song from that band AJR called I'm Not Famous. If you guys haven't heard it, you can go to my community tab and it's there. And it starts out, the lyrics are, I'm not famous. Where's my haters? Where's my haters? I'm not famous. I'm not famous. And it's just cute because it's like, yeah, if you don't have haters, then you're not famous. But who wants to be famous? I mean, for most people that are famous, it really ruins their lives. So it's just kind of tongue in cheek. And no, of course, I'm not YouTube famous. I'm not anything famous. And I'm sure I have a small handful of haters, but that doesn't make me famous. So anyway, it just is what it is. I'm just trying to do my thing, just sheerly for the sake of doing it. Like my yoga, you guys, I'm so excited. My yoga that I just uploaded from this morning, just completed. So it is on my regular videos, along with all those horrible Neil Young songs that I belted out yesterday with like bad lighting, bad equipment, bad everything, no lipstick. I mean, everything is wrong with them. I should take them down, but I'll probably keep them up, just like I said, as an exercise in humility, because who the F cares, right? It's good to just let go. So, the yoga video that I did this morning is completely awesome because my routine, I just keep tweaking it ever so slightly. And I am so excited about it. It keeps moving forward. And if you have any inclination of checking it out at all, most of the yoga videos I have made members only. But the one that I just uploaded is the freshest with, I think it's the only one with the new instructions. And if you are interested, it's just a really great workout. So I'm continuing to try to do it every single day, and I'm getting amazing results physically, emotionally, flexibility wise, everything. So check it out. It's just kind of a dream. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And here I am kind of polishing that masterclass and preparing to offer it to the public. So, right now I'm just offering it on YouTube for free to anybody, and I'm more than happy to do that. So please take advantage if you'd like. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. You just need a mat, a canvas strap, a couple of blocks, maybe some pillows, and maybe a bolster, and just chill out and relax into it. I think you'll really like it. And don't push yourself. Like, you can do it really, really low key and you'll get an extremely good workout from it. You can push yourself if you want, but if you haven't done it before, I'd say just kind of go through the motions and then maybe push yourself a little bit on the second one. Let's see. The positive is helps the algorithm. Yeah. And, I'm just working on my own algorithm. I mean, I'm delighted to have this YouTube channel. It's a really cool creative outlet. And, I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. It started out as true crime. It kind of went jewelry, decor, yoga, true crime, all of it. And, if anything, I'm trying to follow my own inspiration. I'm hoping to inspire others to do the same. So thanks for being here with me, you guys. Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. I didn't want to stay on too long today because I got to go swim with the kids and enjoy the sunshine, even though I hate the sun. I'm very sensitive, but I do like to hang out with my kids. So I'll just, stay under an umbrella, a sunbrella or something. And I wanted to talk about Gabby Petito's case a little bit. I wanted to address Kylie Rodney, of course, with the 2-year anniversary passing yesterday, and still focusing on Taylor Casey in Chicago, or from Chicago in the Bahamas, and what the F is going on there, or what isn't going on there. So how are you guys? Let me do my little disclaimer. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of starting a conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and learn something and be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. And, I have fun with these lights. I know I'm a goofball, but I like to share with you guys that when I was little and I watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and that little train would go into fantasy castle land, like I wanted to live there. And so this is kind of me living the dream. So I just am a complete nerd. So I'm not going to hide it. I'm just going to embrace it, right? And my videos are an exercise in humility. Still can't edit. My disability is brain disease. Video finger works. So I can edit, but it's not my favorite thing. It's a pain. And yeah, I don't use filters just because I want to say against my religion. I'm trying to be unfiltered. That's the whole point. I do like to try to have nice lighting. To me, that's important because bad lighting kind of screws up everything. But I don't use any filters. Never have. I can't say that I never will, but I know a lot of people do use filters, and that's okay. I mean, you do what works for you, but part of my plan and my channel is just to be unfiltered with my thoughts and feelings a lot. I mean, I try to select my topics and my words carefully, but at the same time, I'm just being raw and honest with you guys. So it's not polished, it's not pre-planned, it's just me interacting with you. Like that's what kind of inspires me. That's what I've evolved into with this, and I love it, and I'm just so appreciative. So thanks for helping me build my channel. And please make sure you're still subscribed. If you are subscribed, if you're not, think about hitting that button. Share a video of mine with a friend or family member if you like, because I know there's people out there that just like goofy, silly, non-polished honesty, right? I mean, a lot of people do. It's just not what they look for on YouTube, maybe, or they don't know where to find it. It's what I look for on YouTube, and I don't really know where to find it. Turn on your notification bell to ring if you so choose. And yeah, if you guys have good channel recommendations, please share. Was the one Brandy Gray, is that what it was? We were talking about it in Shan's live last night, and Sigali said she'd never heard of it. I think it's Brandy Gray. I think I have it written down. I try to keep notes on everything so I can keep up and correct myself when I make mistakes, because when I am flying by the seat of my pants and talking about cases that I wasn't even planning on discussing, I do make some mistakes. I try to look things up on my phone as I go so that I can catch the mistakes as I'm making them or before I make them. So Granny Nanny says your bathing suit is pretty colors for you. So yeah, I did post a picture on my community tab of me in my swimsuit. Like you can't see all of me because I like modesty, and it's like an old-fashioned swimsuit, but I made that swimsuit, Granny Nanny. I love sewing. I just love it. So I love making jewelry. I love making things for the house, and I love making clothes, and I love that suit. I love the colors. I love everything about it. And I love how it is a very modest suit. It's old fashioned, so it's kind of long. It's like shorts, but over under the shorts go under the dress, so the top comes down below the shorts. And yeah, you can see a picture of it just from like here up, because I don't need to show it all. I show enough in my yoga videos. And one of my kids is in the background, but you can't see her face. So that's a safe way to do it. But I like to share with you guys. I want to be who I am. I don't want to hide. Like, I wish I could just tell you my freaking name, but we're just going to have to go with Justice for now. Or Xena, right? Warrior Princess. I figure if and when my channel gets blown up, then I'll put my name out there before people discover it on their own, just to beat the haters to the punch. But I don't think my channel is ever going to get big, so maybe I don't have to worry about that. Anyway, yeah, it's funny. I mean, nobody knows my name anyway, whether it was my real name or just Justice Jazz. I mean, you guys know me. I feel like I know you. It's a goofy thing, but it's cool. I'm digging it. So I've thought so much the last few days about Kylie. Oh my goodness, I know, Cosmic Kate. I've been thinking about her nonstop. So Shan did a fantastic 3-hour live last night. If you haven't caught it, that girl is doing her squirrel digging some more, and she is good at that. So I think she's going to continue with some of the documents that she discovered, going through them with a fine-tooth comb tonight or maybe tomorrow night. I was kind of confused. It was late and I was all confused. It was like 2 a.m, I think, when we got off of there. I came on to her live panel discussion at the end, even though I was tired, and I kind of was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't. I just wanted to for old time's sake, and because it was Kylie's anniversary. On Also, I had made a mistake mentioning the Olympics. If you guys have been paying attention to the Olympics, it's pretty exciting. Yesterday, the Americans cleaned up in the gold medals with sprints and running. And one of the gold medal champs that is a Harvard graduate, her name is Gabby. And I messed it up and I said Brandy. So what is Gabby's last name that went to Harvard? I think I wrote it down. Did I? Because I was going to make a correction on there, but you guys know who I'm talking about. She's super famous. All of these people are just amazing. So the two Americans, the men that beat the Brit, that guy who was in the lead, and he's like the fastest runner, the best finisher, but then at the very end, one American beat him by a full second, and the other American kind of tied with them. They said that he beat that other American by 100th of a second, but I don't believe it, because it depends where you're measuring from. Like, are you measuring at the chest? Are you measuring at the feet? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's the coolest race in the world. I think it was the 1500 meter. And Kerr was the guy from the UK that was the expected winner. And then, yeah, if you guys haven't been watching it, sorry, I get really excited. It's just cool. I mean, people get so much inspiration from the Olympics, and it's amazing to me that people do that. I mean, anybody who makes it to the Olympics or anywhere close to the Olympics, they're all just as amazing as each other, basically. I mean, it's just like the slightest thing that can give someone an edge. And some of it is just pure luck. I mean, when you're talking a second or a 10th of a second or a 100th of a second, some of it really is like the way the wind blows, or, you know, just something that is just unpredictable. So every once in a while you get like the Okasana Bayul. Remember when that little 12-year-old girl won the gold for ice skating when the war was between Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan? And then Okasana came waltzing in and had the best performance of her lifetime. And anyway, the gymnastics is always the most fun to me, but you know, the diving, the swimming, the sprinting, it's all pretty freaking phenomenal. And yeah, and then all that scandal with Larry Nassau and him ruining so many people's lives. And I'm amazed that the gymnastics sport has kind of rebounded from that, and it's just amazing to see the athletes continuing to shine through all that trauma and tragedy. And what was the last thing I wanted to say about all that? Oh, the breakdancing. The breakdance, they call it breaking, and there's going to be breakdancing in the Olympics this year for the first time. And I forget what day it's starting, but it's starting soon. Does anybody know, or does anyone want to Google it? It's called breaking, and it's break dance competition in the Olympics. It's crazy. So let's see. Taylor was a message to all trans. You are not welcome. We will not spend resources looking for you. Yeah, Taylor needs to be found. The military needs to go down there and deal with that, because she's a veteran of the Air Force. She's an American. She is important. She's important as a person. She's important as a representative of the trans community. I think she worked at a hospital in Chicago, and then I believe she also did a lot of volunteer work with homeless youth, specifically the trans homeless youth. And she helped a lot of people, and it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. But I'm more and more convinced with her and with Kylie that it's kind of the same thing, and that there's the trafficking involved, and that it's organized and coordinated. And I hope I'm wrong. Please let the powers that be prove me incorrect. That would be a joy. Absolutely. thought about Gabby after seeing clip of CHP when they stopped them. Can't help but wonder about CHP. And the California Highway Patrol or Colorado Highway Patrol, because you're not talking about the Moab police, are you? Because that's what I was going to talk about, is that police officer Pratt, the one who is the lead of that traffic stop, of that domestic violence call. He is a domestic abuser, allegedly. He's got a history. He had been a police chief in Salina, Utah. He'd been a police chief. He stepped down because his girlfriend was outing him for the domestic violence. So he just walked away from that job without having anything else lined up. So he went from being police chief to then being an officer eventually for the Moab PD. And then I want to say he might have been a sergeant already, or he was just a senior officer, but he's been promoted since then. And so I have some stuff I printed off the internet, and I'll read some of it real quick. So Pratt and Officer Daniel Robbins are among a number of the defendants in a wrongful death suit filed by Gabby's family, who are seeking $50 million in damages. I don't know if this has been settled yet. This is from about a month and a half ago. Despite the U.S. Sun revealing the claims from his ex-lover in November featured in the complaint, Pratt is still working as a detective for Moab PD, which is yet to respond to the lawsuit. The source said Pratt is still actively employed by Moab PD. He is currently working as a detective. He is also working a security job at Gunnison State Prison on the weekends. Pratt is also still believed to be a school resource officer, you guys, in all three of the district schools: Helen Knight Elementary School, Margaret Hopkin Middle School, and Grand County High School. So Brian Stewart of Salt Lake City law firm Parker and McConkey is representing Gabby's parents in the lawsuit. Gabby's parents, obviously, Nicole Schmidt and Joseph Petito. And they're claiming that he is unfit and unsafe to be a police officer. And I would definitely agree based on the information. And then the fact that he's a school resource officer is extremely even creepier. Also, that he's got control over prisoners in a state prison. I mean, prison guards are notorious for overstepping their boundaries, right? The Petito family is disappointed that the Moab City does not appear to take the allegations against Officer Pratt seriously. Gabby deserved better, and the people of Moab deserve better now. The U.S. Sun has reached out to Moab PD and Gunnison State for comment, but did not hear back. It is not known how long Pratt has been working at the prison, but he is likely to have taken a second job after investigation finding he and others made several unintentional mistakes, quote unquote. Gabby, 22, was traveling cross country in a van with Brian when police pulled them over in the tourist town over an earlier domestic violence dispute that was called in. Officers allegedly misclassified it as a mental health break after being confronted by an emotional Gabby who struggled with anxiety and failed to document any injuries she suffered. And her face was like all scraped up. I mean, and she even like does this, demonstrating how Brian had grabbed her face, and they just focused on her being the abuser. I mean, I'm sure it was hard to imagine that somebody as phenomenal as Gabby looks and presents herself, that she would hang out with a dirtbag like Brian Laundrie, who also beats her. It would make more sense that she's some kind of psycho and that he's such a nice guy to put up with her, right? I mean, but no, I mean, these officers are just extremely poorly trained, and in my opinion, they are responsible for what then led to her homicide. What, less than 2 weeks later, or about 2 weeks later? Um, and so check this out, you guys. Pratt wrote in his report, no one reported that the male struck the female. And that's exactly what they did report, is that the male struck the female. We've all heard that report, that 911 call of one of the two initial callers. And let's see. And saw you in Squirrel's chat last night. Couldn't stay awake because of UK time difference, so got about half of it still to watch. It was good. Basically, it takes a long time and effort to orchestrate all of those agencies who showed up to Kylie's case. It's too suspicious how many agencies showed up to Kylie's case. Like, and then the PR person from Sherry Papini's faked abduction. No, I mean, the whole thing is just a sham. Like, it's not even physically possible for her car to have gone in the water the way they said it did. I mean, the whole thing is just ridiculous. It's out of control, insane. Let's see. Breakdancing already made its debut in Paris at the Olympics. Oh, did I miss it? Oh, I got to check it out. I am convinced it's sex trafficking and rug trafficking too. It was way too planned. So you're talking about Gabby, you're talking about Taylor, you're talking about both. I am in full agreement with you, Melissa. I kept agreeing with everything you were saying in the chat last night. You and I are on the same page. California. So you're talking about the California Highway Patrol pulled over Gabby Petito and Brian, like back when they were traveling a year or two prior. I don't know. Let's see. There is no central database for cops who were discharged. I hear there's no central database for oversight of corruption in law enforcement. So if you've got a corrupt police department, really the only entity to deal with it is the city that the police department works for. And so if the city wants to hire an investigative firm to come in and clean house, basically, they can do that. But if the city is going to turn a blind eye, then you're kind of up a creek without a paddle, unfortunately. I mean, I think that there should be oversight. And it seems like the Department of Justice would do that, but yet they don't, as far as I know. And I've done a lot of research into it. So justice for Gabby. I know, her poor family. Hey, Billy, darling. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Cops were poop that day. Sexist cops. Yeah. And let's see. 0 Amber Alert, but over 20 agencies. Yeah. So some of the agencies that I wrote down a few days ago, I've got all these papers. I'm just going to drop them on the floor and run out of places to set things down. Because I was shocked to hear this. You've probably heard me say it a couple of times these last few days. The regional threat assessment centers, the intelligence agencies, that's a quote from Sam Brown. These are all quotes from Sam Brown on August 9th, as far as I know, if you want to, double check it. So he said that there were regional threat assessment centers, intelligence agencies, over 150 sworn officers, over 100 professional staff, thousands of volunteers at base camp. That's what Sam Brown said on August 9th. So regional threat assessment centers, intelligence agencies, like what the F are they talking about? Like, this is so much bigger than like a kid that might have gotten lost on their way home. This is completely insane, out of control, crazy. That's on top of the U.S. Marshals, on top of, I can't even think right now, Homeland Security, FBI. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't have the freaking CIA out there, honestly, with everybody else that they had out there. And then they had like Marin County, which is all the way, the north side of the San Francisco Bay, like where the Golden Gate Bridge goes to. They had Marin County out there, the Marin County Sheriff, and they had the San Rafael County Sheriff out there, which is just north of the Marin County. Like, that's, according to Jägermeister, that's 4 hours away. No, it's not 4 hours away. It's like 2 or 3 hours away. But still, why Marin County? Why San Rafael County? Like, that's completely insane. There's quite a few counties between the San Francisco Bay and the Sierras that maybe weren't out there. But we know that we had Nevada County. We know that we had Placer County. We know that we had other local counties. But I also can't underscore how important it is to me that Trinity Backus's stepdad is still a deputy, Christopher Stanio, Deputy Stanio for the Nevada County Sheriff's Department. He had been married to Trinity's mother, Andrea Stanio, and then they were divorced, and then they reunited, and she had just moved back in with him a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks before Trinity went missing. And Trinity had been living with her mom, Andrea. So does that mean that Trinity was residing at Deputy Christopher Stanio's house there in Nevada County? Because he was boots on the ground for Kylie's case. And then, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks? Let's see, August to September to October to November. So 12 weeks later, his stepdaughter goes missing. And she's not a doppelganger for Kylie, but she's like very similar stature, same age, same like long, gorgeous hair and green eyes, tall, slender. And her boyfriend's mom was good friends with Lindsay and helped to coordinate the celebration of life. And then she's deceased. And then her boyfriend had the doppelganger girlfriend of her, Trinity Backus's doppelganger, Paisley Woodard, who passed away almost a year to the day before. Like, these things can't be coincidences. They just can't be. Absolutely. And let's see. Yeah. And 0 Amber Alert, but over 20 agencies. The whole thing was so fumbled. Why intel agencies? Yes. Why all the Bay Area counties? Right. Because you're from the Bay Area, Billy Darling. Bay Area has a lot of water, so maybe they have more experience. I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, out there in the Sierra Nevadas, they all have a lot of experience with rescues. They do, because there's people that need rescuing a lot. And there's also a lot of kids missing in the Bay Area I don't want to say every day, but it's not uncommon. You've got a lot of gang activity. You've got a lot of runaways. You've got teenagers missing in San Francisco and Sacramento quite frequently that never get mentioned. But Kylie goes missing and everybody's there. Like, that makes 0 sense. That is overtime hoax, in my opinion. No one ever saw anyone searching. I know they have a type. Yes, I am from the Bay Area. Yeah. So yeah, we're already at half an hour. And like I said, I didn't have long to spend with you guys today, but let me try to finish what I was reading here about, I think I ended with Pratt writing in his report, no one reported that the male struck the female. And that is directly contradicted in the 911 call. The male struck the female. That's what the man said. And then police concluded Gabby was the primary aggressor after she admitted to slapping Brian, but only but they only decided to separate them for the night. And we don't even know if they stayed separated for the night. We have no idea. We have no idea where Gabby slept. We have no idea where Brian slept. We know that the cops paid for a room for Brian that was right around the corner from the Moonflower Co-op where the incident happened. And then Gabby was supposed to go camping by herself. Like, that's insane. Sending a young woman out into the wild alone. That's bizarre. That is truly bizarre. And then the whole thing with Crystal and Kylan, who were unalived by gunshots within 48 hours, I think, from the 911 call. Yeah, in less than 48 hours. And then, so that was August 14th. And then it was like August 16th or maybe the 17th that Gabby checked into the Salt Lake City hotel and Brian flew back to Florida to quote unquote clean out a storage locker with his dad, and then flew back. And then I think he got back around the 24th. And then the 25th is the day that they went to Mary Piglets. It's the day that they're on surveillance tape at the Whole Foods. And it might be the day, I'm not sure if that's the day that Red, White, and Bethune saw their van with the doors shutting. I don't know if that was the 25th, the 26th, or maybe even the 27th, but I think it was the 25th or the 26th, if anybody knows. So right after he gets back, like a day or two after he gets back. Like, did he come back just to do that? And did he do Crystal and Kylan? Like, I've always suspected that he did Crystal and Kylan, that he suspected Kylan was the caller to the 911. And we know that there were two callers. There was the male that we've heard the recording of, and then there was a separate caller that I don't think we've heard that recording. So I don't know if the other caller was male or female. But man, it's just mind-boggling, isn't it? Let's see. Cosmic Kate says, I just looked it up. The patrol were working for Moab Police. I thought they all came under the CHP. Yeah, I know it's easy to get things confused. That's why it's so good that we can look things up, and it's good to try to nip it in the bud so that we're on the right page and we're not part of the confusion, because there's so much confusion. So let me finish up with this. The latest lawsuit accuses Moab City PD of a series of negligent features during the encounter roughly 2 weeks before Brian brutally red-rummed Gabby in August of 2021. Brutally. What a sick MF. It also includes a series of shocking claims about Pratt, the senior law enforcement officer on the scene, including death threats he allegedly made to a former mistress. Between 2008 and 2017, Pratt served as an officer and then police chief in Salina, Utah, 158 miles west of Moab. Let's see. The ex-girlfriend, the mistress, alleges it was his regular practice to not follow through on investigations or to sweep cases under the rug to avoid work, stating it's too much paperwork. And yeah, everything they do is a lot of paperwork. Or there's no way I'm doing all that paperwork. So yeah, if you don't like paperwork, then you should not be in law enforcement, because that's pretty much all it is. And if you arrest somebody, it's even more paperwork. But if you don't arrest somebody, you still have to document. But I do know that some departments don't document because they don't want to provide the public with the records. When there's a public records request made, they can say, well, we don't got no records because we habitually don't document, right? Isn't that nifty? Regarding the alleged death threat, the suit claims Pratt pulled witness one over in her car with her 5-year-old daughter in the back seat. Pratt credibly and clearly threatened her, stating, if any of this gets out, I will ill you with a K with a crowbar. She said this allegedly in front of the 5-year-old. On another occasion, the witness alleges Pratt told her he had been so angry with her that, quote, if this had been a week ago, I would have been digging a grave and you would have been in it. Gabby's legal team claims the woman came forward after the U.S. Sun exclusively revealed Pratt had been promoted to detective, which was listed on his LinkedIn from December 2021. So December 2021, the situation with Gabby was August 2021. And then 4 months later, he gets promoted. I wonder what kind of pay raise he got with that promotion. The Petito lawsuit also alleges Pratt's mistress reported their tumultuous affair to city officials and asked them to speak to him. The U.S. Sun understands there's no official documentation of any complaint made at the time. A short time later, in July 2017, he announced his resignation, saying he was leaving full-time law enforcement to, quote, pursue other interests and experience life from new vantage points. But then he ended up in law enforcement again. Isn't that interesting? And let me just finish up with part of this. In truth, on August 12th, no one could have predicted the tragedy that would occur weeks later and hundreds of miles away, and the city of Moab will ardently defend against this lawsuit. It's funny that they say that because actually in the body cam footage, Pratt predicts exactly what occurred. He literally says, like, in a couple of weeks, she could end up unalive if we make the wrong decision, right? Am I not the only one that remembers that? And so this is the defense speaking. At the same time, it is clear that the Moab City PD officers are not responsible for Gabrielle Petito's eventual red rum. Miss Petito is believed to have passed in Wyoming in late August 2021, more than 2 weeks after she and Brian Laundrie visited Moab and interacted with Moab City Police. So probably the 27th then, because the 12th plus 2 weeks would put it on the 26th. At that time, our officers acted with kindness, respect, and empathy towards Miss Petito. I'd say that they did act with some kindness and respect and empathy towards Miss Petito, but they were also intimidating her, I think, intentionally. And they were completely happy to be fooled by Brian Laundrie and his antics. And let's see, I'm going to just go ahead and stop there because we're getting close to 45 minutes and I didn't want to be on here for too much longer. Thanks so much for joining me, you guys. And I think that what I really wanted to say today is just about miscommunication and misspeaking, that we all need to be so careful. And even in the Micah Miller case, I think that her family's attorney, Regina Ward, misspoke and miscommunicated for the family in saying that the family didn't want any of the public to be protesting out in front of the church anymore. From what I've heard, that is not accurate. The family doesn't have any vested interest in trying to control what the public does with their time and energy. And the family is still pursuing justice of their own sort. Like, yes, they did this global settlement of the case, but they're still pursuing justice in kind of like the Gabby Petito family type of stuff. You know, they're with the whole the coercion laws and the mission stuff. You know, they're still living out Micah Miller's wishes, and they're not done with the case, despite the settlement. The settlement is just them being done with suing JP, but they're still pursuing justice for their dear Micah in many other ways that we probably don't even know about. So yeah, we do all need to be really careful, I think, about our own misspeaking, and also when we hear somebody misspeak, like Regina Ward said in the interview with Fitz News that JP had been served by her on the day that Micah passed away. But she misspoke. That's not accurate. First of all, she did not serve him herself. Second of all, he was served almost 48 hours before Micah passed away. So it is recorded, the person that served him. And I don't know why she misspoke, but when we catch people making mistakes, we need to pay attention and follow up on them so that we can try to make sense of it all, because that would be really wild if the lawyer had served him herself. Like, lawyers just don't do that. You know, they have bicycle messengers do it. They have law enforcement do it. And I mean, anybody can serve anybody, but typically it's bicycle messengers and law enforcement that serve people the lawsuits. So for Regina Ward to have said that she served JP that day was just a complete, I don't know, brain fart of hers. She just misspoke, and it was very confusing because it put things in a very different light, did it not? And then there was that ex-church member who came out and said that she was speaking on behalf of Solid Rock and the truth for Micah. And she sounded exactly like Jane Doe 1 and 2 in the in the Kylie Rodney case. So Jane 1 and Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 came forward allegedly through a certain channel who had fabricated a water bottle in the Gabby Petito case. If you remember, she pretended that she found Gabby Petito's water bottle. It matched one from a video in the back of the van, and she took it to law enforcement, and she almost got arrested for interfering with the investigation. And I kind of wish she had, because she didn't learn her lesson. She comes forward with Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 because honestly, she got giant paychecks for all of that. She got a giant paycheck for the water bottle fake. She got giant paychecks for Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2. And she obviously doesn't care about anything like integrity or hampering an investigation or obstruction of justice or truth. You know, she's just all about her silly little channel. And I think that the voice on the Jane Doe 1 and the Jane Doe 2 is the exact same voice in that alleged ex-Solid Rock church member. And I wish I could remember what channel it was that had that ex-Solid Rock church member interview. I haven't had time to look that up. If anybody knows and can put it in chat before we wrap it up for today, that would be much appreciated. So yeah, thanks, Kate, for apologizing if you were wrong and confusing. Because yeah, I try to catch stuff. I try to catch myself when I make mistakes. I try to catch when there's typos or misinformation in chat. And it's so important because we definitely don't want to be part of the problem. We're trying to get this stuff sorted out. We're trying to ungaslight ourselves, not get more confused. And there's a lot to get confused with. So it's important when we miscommunicate or misspeak to catch ourselves and fix that right away. So thanks again for joining me, you guys. And let's see, the Seeker of Truth has done a couple of cool videos. I know Mark and Ninja keep pumping them out. I am just extremely appreciative. Sigali also. Sigali is Seeker of Truth, right? And then there's Illuminated Mind. So I sometimes think of Seeker of Truth and Illuminated Mind as one and the same, and they're totally different. So yeah, I think that's about it, you guys. In your presence, sorry, I can't believe I didn't mention her. She was there for the 2-year memorial, her and CB. So that was super cool. Super, amazing and cool. So just keep Kylie Rodney's name in the algorithm. And hopefully we will all see each other in Squirrels on Fire's next live. I don't think it's going to be tonight, maybe, but I think it's going to be tomorrow night. And on that, you guys have a really good rest of your Wednesday. It is August 7th. Once again, I'll reiterate the date, and the time is just about 4:30. So I'm going to head out to the pool with the kids. Love and light to all of you. Thanks a million for being here. What's that? Cosmic Kate? I didn't know that. That's bad. Didn't know what. What did I just say? If you want to say before we totally sign off. So yeah, I'll try to see you guys tomorrow. And again, check out the yoga tape that just finished uploading. And if you want to laugh at me, you can check out the Neil Young songs. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. The water bottle. Yeah, Cosmic Kate. I know, it's terrible. Some of these content creators do some crazy crap, and you wonder why they still have channels. Tony Dodge and some others that I don't need to mention. That is one. Like, why in the world did the police not press charges with the freaking water bottle? And then for her to come back out with Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2, and yeah, just completely muddy the water and say all kinds of crazy stuff. So again, to reiterate my question that I had wanted to get answered before I came on so I could say it, but I didn't find it yet. I didn't have time to look for it yet, is the ex-Solid Rock church member who did the interview saying that they were speaking out. Like everything they said was completely consistent with what Jane Doe 1 said and what Jane Doe 2 said, and the same voice. So I think it was the same individual. And these people that think that they can come out and, you know, control the narrative the way like Red Flag Ronnie thought he could control the narrative. Scammy thought she could control the narrative. SF Investigates or MC Ultra or Zanime, they all thought they could control the narrative. And no, you can certainly foul up the narrative, but the narrative in the streets of YouTube is going to be controlled by the public, the audience, basically. And most people are seeking actual truth, not the BS kind. So on that, you guys, love and light, peace out. See you mañana. Have a lovely day. Drink your water, eat your veggies and your protein, chill out, get some exercise, sunshine, fresh air. I'm going to go do that myself, and see you soon. Much love, much appreciation.